This is a slow, continuous story with no interruptions, designed to help you fall asleep faster. To play this video longer, right-click on the video when you start watching and select loop so it continues playing as you sleep. If you wake up and your mind starts wandering to all your tasks, just remind yourself to focus back on my voice. Tonight, you step into the slow, steady rhythm of a Silk Road trading post. This is a calm, immersive history experience. Through soft storytelling and detailed scenes, you'll experience what daily life was really like in one of the world's most famous trading areas. If you're looking for something peaceful to listen to at night, this story is here to help you slow down and drift off naturally. What if you arrive in a quiet city where traders, tea houses, spices, and stories all come together in slow, steady rhythm? No rush, no noise, just tea houses, quiet markets, and slow trade to hear about what life was really like. Yes, tonight, you're stepping inside a Silk Road trading city where nothing rushes and everything unfolds gently enough to help you fall asleep. You remain seated a little longer than necessary, letting the quiet edge of stillness stretch before curiosity gently nudges you forward again. The courtyard hums behind you, but now your attention begins to shift outward, toward the streets beyond, where the city continues in layers. You rise slowly, brushing the faint dust from your hands, and take a few unhurried steps toward a wider passage. The sounds change first. Less of the heavy movement of goods, more of voices, footsteps, and softer exchanges. The city breathes differently. You step into a broader street where the ground is smoother. Buildings line both sides, offering shade where people move in and out of light. No one rushes. No one stands still for long either. It's a constant, flowing rhythm, less repetitive than the desert, but just as steady. Silk Road cities, like Samarkand and Kashgar, became vital hubs of exchange, where goods were redistributed and cultures intersected in daily life. These weren't just stops. They were centers of activity. You walk slowly, allowing yourself to take it in without trying to understand everything at once. A merchant adjusts a bundle outside a doorway. Another speaks softly. A child moves past with careful steps, carrying something important. Life here is layered. You pause near the edge of a shaded wall, watching the flow. It's not overwhelming, just continuous. A light thought drifts. After days of walking through silence and open space, this feels like stepping into a quiet conversation that never ends. The smells shift again. Less dust now, more spice, fabric, something faintly sweet. It's subtle but constant, carried gently through the air. You take another step, then another, letting the rhythm of the city guide you. No destination, just movement. Historians still argue whether these cities felt chaotic or whether the familiarity of trade made them feel immediately navigable. Standing here now, it feels surprisingly easy to settle in. Perhaps because nothing demands your attention too sharply. A quirky detail. In some cities, travelers could spend days simply acclimating, resting, observing, and slowly integrating into the flow. You understand that instinct now. There's no need to rush. A group nearby pauses to speak, their conversation calm and measured. Trade, perhaps, or something else. You continue walking. The street opens slightly, revealing a wider area where movement increases. Goods are displayed more openly here, fabric draped carefully, small items arranged with quiet intention. You recognize some of it. Silk. You watch as a trader lifts a piece, holding it to the light, letting it shift and reflect. Everything here is deliberate. You take a slow breath, letting the atmosphere settle into you. The journey brought you here, step by step, and now, instead of moving forward, you move within, through spaces shaped by countless journeys before yours. You glance down briefly, noticing your own steps, no longer sinking into sand, just walking. Simple, a light, sleepy humor drifts. After everything, walking on flat ground feels like a luxury you didn't know you were missing. The city continues around you, steady and calm. You drift a little deeper into the city, letting the flow of movement carry you without resistance. The street narrows, then opens again, guiding you into a space that feels quieter, more purposeful. The voices soften here, and the activity takes on a different tone. Not less busy, but more contained. You begin to notice the buildings more closely. Not shops, exactly. Not homes, either. Something in between. Large doors sit slightly open, revealing glimpses of dim interiors. Stacks of goods, carefully arranged, protected from dust and light. A man stands just inside one of these doorways, counting something slowly, deliberately, his fingers moving over small objects in a steady rhythm. You pause nearby, watching. This is not the place where goods are displayed. This is where they are kept. Silk Road cities relied heavily on warehouses and storage facilities, where goods could be held, protected, and accounted for before being moved onward. These spaces were essential for managing the flow of valuable items across long distances. You step a little closer to the doorway. Inside, the air looks cooler, dimmer. Bundles are stacked with precision, each one placed with intention. Cloth-wrapped packages, wooden containers, small labeled items arranged in neat rows. Nothing feels random. Everything has a place. A man inside glances briefly toward you, not with suspicion, but with quiet acknowledgement, then returns to his work, counting, tracking, remembering. Historians argue whether detailed written records were always kept, or if much of the tracking relied on memory and trust between traders. Watching this moment, it feels like both methods might exist side-side. Some things written, some things simply known. In certain regions, merchants used tally sticks or marked objects to track quantities, creating physical records understood without shared language. You imagine trying to manage all these goods without modern systems, then realize they did for centuries. You step back slightly, giving space as a pair of workers moves past you, carrying a smaller bundle into the building. Their movements are careful, coordinated, but not rushed. The bundle is placed precisely, adjusted once, then left. Finished, no hesitation. You glance down the row of buildings and see similar spaces repeating, each one part of a larger system that keeps everything moving. Storage, protection, preparation, the quiet backbone of trade. While the markets get the attention, this is where the real work happens. Counting, organizing, making sure nothing mysteriously disappears. You continue walking along the row, observing how each space operates. Some are more active, with goods being moved in and out. Others remain still, their contents resting, waiting for the next step in their journey. You notice small markings near some doorways, symbols perhaps, or simple identifiers. A system, subtle, effective. The air here feels different, less open than the streets, more contained. The sounds are quieter too, softened by the presence of goods. This part of the city feels grounded, less about movement, more about holding. You pause near another doorway, where a man carefully unwraps a bundle, revealing layers of fabric beneath. He inspects it briefly, then rewraps it with the same care, securing it again. No waste, no carelessness, Every action has purpose. Historians still argue whether goods were frequently inspected during storage or only when trade was imminent. Watching this, it seems likely that careful checking was part of maintaining trust, ensuring that what arrived is what would eventually be passed on. You step back again, letting the scene continue without interruption. The city is teaching you something, not loudly, not directly, but through observation, through rhythm, through repetition. You begin to understand that this journey is not just about movement. It's about control, balance, trust. Goods don't simply travel. They are managed, watched, cared for. You glance once more down the row of storage spaces, then turn slowly back toward the wider street. The hum of the city returns, slightly louder now, more open. You take another step, then another. The movement resumes, but now you carry a quieter awareness of what happens behind the scenes. The still places, the careful counting, the quiet spaces where the journey pauses. Before continuing on, you step back into the broader flow of the street, where the quiet order of the storage spaces gives way to something more conversational. The sounds rise slightly, not loud, but layered with intention. Voices, gestures, pauses. You begin to notice that while goods are important here, the exchange is something else entirely. You slow your pace without thinking, drawn toward a small cluster of people gathered near a shaded corner. There's no raised voice, no dramatic movement, just a few traders standing close, their attention fixed on a piece of fabric, held carefully between them. No one rushes, no one interrupts. One man speaks, his tone low and even, then stops. The other listens, not immediately responding. He studies the fabric, turning it slightly, letting the light catch it from a different angle. Silence follows, not awkward, just part of the process. Bargaining along the Silk Road was rarely loud or aggressive. It was often a slow, deliberate exchange, built on patience, mutual respect, and careful evaluation. You watch, fascinated. Another trader steps slightly closer, offering a brief comment, then steps back again. The conversation continues, but in small pieces. Words are measured, pauses are long, and gestures carry as much meaning as speech. You begin to understand something. The silence is part of the negotiation. Modern negotiations might benefit from this approach. Less urgency, more thoughtful pauses, and significantly fewer emails. You almost smile. The fabric is passed from one set of hands to another. Each person examines it, feeling the texture, observing the weave, noticing hidden details. You realize that what you're witnessing isn't just a transaction, it's an evaluation, a quiet conversation between experience and material. Historians argue if prices were standardized or if each deal was unique. Watching this, it feels like the latter, shaped by context and relationship. No fixed price, no simple answer, just agreement. When it arrives, some traders were known for reading people, understanding when to speak, when to wait, when to adjust based on the other person's reactions. You watch the faces more closely now, the slight narrowing of eyes, the small nod, the brief pause before responding. All of it carries meaning. You realize you're standing still now, fully absorbed. Eventually, one of the traders nods more definitively. The other responds in kind. There's no handshake, no dramatic conclusion, just a shared understanding. The fabric is folded. The conversation ends. The exchange is complete. You exhale slowly. After all that quiet intensity, the final agreement feels almost anticlimactic, like watching a very calm version of a dramatic scene. You step forward again, continuing your walk. The pattern repeats elsewhere. Small groups, careful conversations, measured decisions. The city isn't loud because it doesn't need to be. Everything happens at its own pace. You notice another exchange, involving metal or stone. The process is the same. Observation, discussion, pause. No rush. You begin to feel the rhythm of it. Step, consider, pause, continue. Each interaction feels complete in itself. Trade along the Silk Road depended heavily on trust, not just in goods, but in reputation. A trader known for fairness would be sought out. One known for dishonesty would not. It encourages patience, honesty, consistency, things that don't require enforcement, just memory. A quiet system, self-sustaining. You take another step, the movement returning naturally. The city unfolds as many small stories. Each conversation, each exchange, each quiet agreement. You don't need to follow them all. You just move through them, observing, absorbing, letting the gentle rhythm of human interaction carry you forward, just as the desert once did. Different landscape, same steady flow, and you continue within it. The desert dust begins to fade as you enter the ancient textile quarter, where the air is heavy with the scent of tradition and trade. The bustling noise of the city softens here, replaced by the gentle rustle of hanging fabrics, swaying like banners in a morning breeze. Before you, a trader lifts a piece of shimmering silk. It catches the light, cascading downward with a weightless, liquid-like motion that defies gravity. Look closer at the weave. Every thread is a testament to thousands of years of mastery, reflecting a subtle, intentional shimmer under the sun. A man runs his fingers along the edge, inviting you to feel the resilience hidden within the softness. This is the heart of the journey. In this corner of the world, trade is not a transaction, but an art. Traders examine every finish with unhurried movements and deep reverence. Nearby, the contrast is stark. Coarser, thicker materials sit in stacks, designed for the rugged endurance of the long road rather than status. A trader holds out small fabric samples. These tiny fragments represent vast bolts of wealth, the silent language of a grand negotiation. They step in and out of the shifting sunlight, tilting the silk at various angles to confirm the absolute purity of the weave. Every action here is intentional. The marketplace breathes in a meditative rhythm, where time is measured by the quality of a single thread. As you step back, the fabrics continue to dance in the quiet air. The city's rhythm remains constant, a heartbeat echoing through the ages. The traveler walks away, leaving the silk behind. But its story continues, a thread of beauty woven into the enduring fabric of our world. You leave the soft shimmer of silk behind, and the air changes. It becomes richer, warmer, layered with scents that linger and settle, following you as you move. Spices, you notice them before you see them. A faint hint of something sharp, sweet, earthy, and grounding. A scent that feels strangely recognizable. The space ahead opens into a different kind of market. Less about texture, more about aroma. Small containers are arranged carefully, each holding something that invites attention. A trader lifts the lid of a small vessel, revealing dark material inside. He gestures gently, and you lean in, catching the scent. Warm, spiced, complex. Spices were among the most valuable commodities along the Silk Road, prized for flavor, medicine, and ritual. Their rarity made them highly precious across regions. You breathe in slowly, trying to notice the layers. There's no single scent, just a blend that shifts. You think, if asked to describe this, it just smells important. Nearby, Another trader arranges piles of spices, deep reds, muted browns, soft golden tones. Each spice carries its own value and purpose, not just flavor, but meaning. You move along the row, observing how the spices are handled. No one rushes. Each interaction is careful, respectful, and measured, using small tools to preserve quality. Some spices were so valuable they were used like currency, traded for influence. You imagine carrying something so small, yet so significant. Lightweight, powerful. In a shaded corner, a trader pours spice into a cloth, tying it carefully. The exchange is quiet, almost understated. Trading spices involves more patience than cooking with them. The scents shift as you move, each step bringing something new. The experience is calming. The rhythm here is slower, inviting you to pause and notice without effort. You understand why these goods were valued, not just for what they do, but for how they transform a space or a moment. The city teaches you through scent and silence. You turn slowly, letting the spices fade as you return to the street. The air shifts, lighter now, but you carry the memory of it with you, a reminder that even the smallest things can travel the longest distances and leave the deepest impressions. Your journey continues through the quiet spaces of a city moving with purpose. The Silk Road is a river of noise and spice, a current that pulls you along its dusty banks in the heat of midday. But even the longest journey needs a shore. Away from the crowd, a side street beckons with a different kind of air. Here, the world begins to slow. Each step away from the market is a step towards silence and a deeper presence. You follow the quiet, drawn to a threshold where the sun softens and the dust settles into a peaceful, cooling shade. This is the sanctuary, a hidden tea house, a place where the road pauses and the traveler is invited to simply breathe. Inside, the light is filtered through woven bamboo screens, painting the floor in soft patterns of gold and moving shadows. There is no rush here, only the gentle murmur of low voices and the ancient scent of dried leaves and mountain water. You find a place on a low wooden bench. Around you, travelers from distant lands sit in a shared, comfortable quietude. A small, warm ceramic cup is placed in your hands. It is simple, humble, and perfectly grounded against the world's chaos. The surface of the tea catches the ambient light, a miniature mirror reflecting the wooden rafters while remaining perfectly still. You watch the steam rise. It curls and fades like the smoke of a campfire, carrying the aroma of distant mountains. As you take the first slow sip, the warmth spreads through you. It is not just tea. It is a 1,000-year journey. You feel the tension leave your shoulders. The brew connects you to the earth and the countless ancestors who walked these paths. Look around at the faces in this small room. The Silk Road isn't just a trade route. It's a bridge of shared humanity. Conversations are low and respectful. A simple nod or a shared glance creates a moment of recognition between weary strangers. This tradition traveled across deserts and high mountains, bringing the spirit of ancient tea culture to every corner of the world. History lives in the steam. You are part of a lineage of seekers who found stillness in the middle of a great movement. Outside, the city continues its frantic dance beyond the doorway. From here, the hustle looks like a distant, silent dream. Your cup is empty now, but your spirit is full. You set it down with a gentleness that honors the peace you found. It is time to return to the road. You rise with unhurried movements, carrying the stillness within you like a secret. The light brightens as you step back onto the street. The noise returns, but it no longer pulls at your inner calm. With a quiet heart and a steady gaze, you step back into the flow, ready for the next mile of your journey. You step back into the street, and for a moment, the brightness feels sharper than before. Not harsh, just more defined. The sounds return gradually, layering themselves back into your awareness. Footsteps, voices, the quiet movement of trade. But now, something draws your attention in a different way. Not the scent, not the texture, but the presence of something written. You notice it first on a small wooden surface near a doorway. Lines of ink, carefully placed, forming shapes that feel structured and deliberate. A man sits nearby, his posture calm, his movements slow as he dips a thin brush into a small container. Ink. He lifts it again, adding another line with steady precision. You slow your steps, drawn closer without fully deciding to be. This is a different kind of exchange. Not goods, not conversation, but knowledge. The Silk Road played a major role in the spread of writing systems, paper-making, and record-keeping practices. Paper, invented in China, gradually moved westward along these routes, transforming how information was stored and shared. You watch as the man continues his work, the brush moving with quiet confidence. Each stroke is intentional, each mark placed with care. There's no hesitation, no correction, just steady flow. You realize something. This too is a form of movement. Ideas traveling, words carried across distance. A small stack of thin sheets rests beside him, each one holding similar lines of ink. Some are tightly rolled, others laid flat, drying in the light. You lean slightly closer, careful not to intrude. The symbols are unfamiliar, but their structure is clear, organized, balanced, meaningful to those who understand them. Imagine sending a message across continents and trusting that someone, somewhere, will understand every line exactly as you intended. Nearby, another man examines one of the sheets, holding it gently, reading with quiet focus. His eyes move slowly, following the lines as if tracing a path. No rush, no distraction, just attention. Historians argue whether literacy was widespread among traders or limited to scribes and officials. Watching this, it feels like a specialized skill. Early paper was often made from materials like mulberry bark, hemp, and rags, processed into thin, durable sheets. You glance at the stack again, noticing how light it appears. Portable, practical, perfect for a world built on movement. You step slightly to the side as another individual approaches, handing over a small item, perhaps a message, perhaps a request. The man with the brush nods, setting aside his current work and preparing to begin something new. A letter, maybe, a record, a message that will travel just as you did, carried carefully, delivered slowly. Compared to this, modern typing feels a bit impatient. The atmosphere here feels focused, but not tense. There's a calm precision to everything. The preparation of ink, the movement of the brush, the quiet exchange of materials. The city continues around you, but this space feels slightly apart. A place where movement slows, just enough for ideas to take shape. You step back gently, allowing the process to continue without your presence. Because it doesn't need you, it simply exists. You turn slowly, returning to the broader street once more. The sounds shift again. The movement resumes. But now, you carry a quieter understanding of what travels along these routes. Not just silk, not just spices, but words, ideas, connections that stretch beyond what you can see. You take another step, then another, and as you move forward, the rhythm of the journey continues. Less visible now, but just as present. Flowing through time, you drift further along the street. the quiet precision of ink and paper, giving way to something more open, more reflective. The movement slows again, not because the city is quieter here, but because the space itself feels different, less focused on trade, more on something inward. You notice it in the architecture first. The buildings are simpler, less crowded with goods or people moving in and out. Their entrances are more open, less guarded. A soft scent, faint, almost indistinct, floats through the air, something like incense or dried herbs. You follow it, without urgency, without question. The path leads you into a courtyard that feels immediately calmer than the streets behind you. The sounds soften, not disappearing entirely, but settling into a distant background. The ground is smooth, the space uncluttered. A few people sit quietly along the edges. Some stand, some simply pass through. No one speaks loudly. No one seems in a hurry. The Silk Road was not only a route for goods, but also for religious and philosophical ideas spread along these paths by monks and scholars. You step further into the space, your movements slowing naturally. There's a structure at the center, simple, not grand, but clearly important. A place of gathering, a place of reflection. You don't need to know its exact purpose to feel its presence. A figure moves quietly across the courtyard, adjusting something small. Perhaps a candle, perhaps a simple offering. The action is gentle, deliberate. You take a slow breath, letting the stillness settle into you. This is not a place of trade, not of negotiation, not of movement. It's a place of pause, a place where the journey softens. Standing here now, it feels like observation is enough. You don't need to participate. You simply exist within the space. Buddhist monks often carried texts across vast distances, establishing small centers like this one where ideas could take root. You glance again at the central structure, imagining how many travelers have stood where you are, pausing briefly before continuing on. The continuity feels quiet, steady. In a journey filled with movement, it makes sense that places like this exist, just to remind you to stop. You lower yourself to sit along the edge, your body naturally settling into the calm. The ground is cool, the air still. Your breathing slows without effort. Around you, others do the same. No one acknowledges you directly, but there's a shared understanding. This is a place for quiet, for reflection, for simply being. You let your gaze soften, not focusing on any one thing. The shapes blur slightly, the edges of the space becoming less defined. The sounds, distant voices, soft footsteps, blend into a gentle background. You close your eyes for just a moment, not to sleep, just to rest. The journey feels far away now. The desert, the mountains, the long, steady rhythm of walking, all of it still present, but softened, like a memory. You take another slow breath, let it out gently, and for a moment, there is nothing to do, nothing to observe, just stillness. Eventually, you open your eyes again. The courtyard remains the same, calm, unchanged, waiting for no one, and yet welcoming everyone. You rise slowly, your movements unhurried. There's no signal to leave, no expectation, but the journey continues. It always does. You step back toward the entrance, the sounds of the city gradually returning as you cross the threshold once more. The rhythm resumes, but something stays with you, a quieter awareness, a softer pace beneath the movement. And as you take your next step, you carry that stillness with you. You step back into the gentle movement of the street, the quiet stillness of the courtyard, lingering just beneath your awareness like a soft echo. The city continues, as it always has, steady, layered, purposeful. But now your attention shifts again, drawn towards something more tangible, something being made. You notice it first in the sound, a soft, rhythmic tapping, not loud, not disruptive, just consistent enough to catch your attention without demanding it. It blends with the hum of the city, but carries its own quiet pattern. You follow it. The street narrows slightly, then opens into a space where fewer goods are displayed and more are created. The atmosphere feels different here, not less active, but more focused. The movements you see are repetitive, intentional, shaped by skill rather than negotiation. Craft. You step closer to a low workspace where a man shapes a small piece of clay. His hands move slowly, steadily, pressing and turning the material into form. There's no rush, no hesitation, just a quiet familiarity with the process. Artisans along the Silk Road produced a wide range of goods: pottery, tools, textiles, metalwork, many of which were traded locally or added to the broader network. You watch as the clay takes shape. It's subtle at first, a curve, a slight adjustment. Then gradually, something recognizable begins to emerge. A small vessel perhaps, simple but precise. You realize that this process mirrors everything else you've seen. Slow, deliberate, built on repetition. After watching traders negotiate and travelers walk for days, it makes sense that creation itself would follow the same rhythm. Nearby, another artisan works with metal, heating a small piece over a contained flame. The glow is soft, controlled, and his movements are careful as he shapes it with simple tools. Tap, adjust, pause, repeat. The sound you noticed earlier, it continues steadily, blending into the environment. Historians still argue whether most artisans along the Silk Road worked independently or as part of organized guilds or family groups. Watching this space, it feels like a mixture. Individual skill, supported by shared knowledge. Nothing isolated, everything connected. Certain techniques, like glazing pottery or refining metalwork, spread along the Silk Road, evolving as they passed through different cultures and regions. You glance at the vessel forming in the artisan's hands, wondering how many influences are quietly present within its shape. More than you can see. You move slowly through the space, observing without interrupting. Each artisan seems absorbed in their work, their attention focused inward. There's a calm here, a quiet dedication. No one rushes, no one forces the process. You pause near a workbench where tools are arranged neatly. Simple, functional, worn from use. Nothing elaborate, nothing unnecessary. Everything has purpose. In a world full of movement and trade, it turns out someone still has to actually make things. The rhythm of creation continues. Tap, turn, shape. Each movement small, but essential. You realize that without this part, the making, the entire system would slowly fade. Goods must be replaced, repaired, created anew. The journey isn't just about carrying things across distance. It's about ensuring there's always something to carry. You take a slow breath, letting the steady sounds settle into you. The environment feels grounded, stable, a quiet counterbalance to the movement you've experienced. You step back slightly, giving space as another artisan moves into place. The city flows, trade continues, but here, in this small space, time feels different. Less about where you're going, more about what you're doing. You turn slowly, stepping back toward the street, carrying the rhythm of the work with you. The tapping fades, the movement returns, but something remains. A quiet understanding that every journey, no matter how long, depends on these small, steady acts of creation. You take another step, then another, and the city opens before you. Once more, you step back into the broader street, the soft rhythm of crafting fading behind you, replaced once again by the gentle hum of trade and movement. But now, something shifts in your awareness, not something you can see immediately, but something you begin to sense. Value, not in the obvious way of goods laid out for display, but in the quieter exchanges happening just beneath the surface. You notice it in the way a trader hands over a small object, receives something in return, then pauses, counting, considering, measuring. You slow your steps, watching. There are no coins exchanged here, at least not in the way you might expect. Instead, objects move between hands. Bundles, small containers, pieces of fabric, items whose worth seems understood rather than stated. Barter. While coinage did exist along parts of the Silk Road, barter remained a common method of exchange, particularly between traders from different regions. A trader offers a small quantity of spice. The other responds by presenting a piece of cloth. They pause, both considering the exchange. No numbers, no written agreement, just understanding. Imagine trying to explain modern pricing systems here. This costs $19.99, and then having to explain what the 99 part means. You almost smile. The exchange continues. A slight adjustment, a bit more spice perhaps, or a small additional item. Then a nod. Agreement. Historians still argue whether barter systems were consistent across regions or varied widely. Watching this moment, it feels flexible, adaptable to context. Nothing fixed, everything negotiable. You notice how much trust is involved. No written contract, no formal enforcement, just reputation. A trader known for fairness is approached more readily. One who isn't, quietly avoided. Traders would form long-term relationships, exchanging goods over multiple journeys, building trust over time, rather than relying on immediate transactions. You imagine meeting the same person again, months or even years later, continuing a quiet exchange that stretches across time. It feels steady. You step a little closer to another interaction, where a man examines a set of small metal objects. He turns one over in his hand, testing its weight, its balance, its feel. Value isn't just seen, it's felt. He nods slightly, offering something in return. A piece of fabric, perhaps, or a tool. The exchange is calm, measured, almost thoughtful. In a world without price tags, it turns out you actually have to think about what things are worth. You let the thought settle. The rhythm of exchange continues around you. Offer, pause, adjust, agree. Each step quiet, deliberate, essential. You begin to understand that this system, though it may seem less structured than modern trade, is deeply functional because it's built on awareness, on attention, on presence. You take a slow breath, letting the atmosphere settle into you. The city is not chaotic. It's balanced. Even in its complexity, you notice a trader stepping away from an exchange, adjusting his bundle slightly, then moving on. No lingering, no second guessing. The agreement holds. The journey continues. You follow the flow again, stepping lightly, your movements guided more by observation than intention. The goods you saw earlier, the silk, the spices, the crafted items, are all part of this system, moving from one set of hands to another. The Silk Road wasn't just a network of routes. It was a system of relationships built on trust, exchange, and shared understanding across cultures. You take another step, then another. The rhythm persists, not just in movement, but in interaction. And as you move through it, you begin to feel less like an observer and more like a quiet part of the flow. The light begins to soften again, almost without you noticing at first. It's not sudden, just a gradual shift. The brightness easing into something warmer, more muted. The shadows lengthen slightly along the ground, stretching quietly beside you as you walk. The city continues, but the pace changes. You notice it in small ways. A trader finishes arranging his goods, covering them with a cloth. Another gathers a few remaining items, securing them with care. Conversations become shorter, more final, as if each exchange knows it won't continue much longer today. You slow your steps, matching the subtle shift. Even the air feels different, less active, more settled. A mainstream historical fact settles into your thoughts. Many markets along the Silk Road operated according to the natural rhythm of daylight, with activity rising in the morning and gradually slowing as evening approached. You glance upward. The sky carries a softer tone now, fading gently. A light thought drifts through your mind. No closing hours posted anywhere, and yet everyone seems to know exactly when it's time to stop. You almost smile. You move toward a wider section of the street, where the flow of people is still steady, but less dense. There's no rush to leave, just a gradual easing, like a tide pulling back. A trader nearby rolls up a piece of fabric, tying it with practiced hands before lifting it to carry away. Another carefully seals a container, ensuring it's secure for the night. Nothing is abandoned, nothing left unfinished. Historians still argue whether city markets had formal closing signals, bells, announcements, or if they simply followed a shared understanding shaped by routine. Watching this, it feels like the latter. A quiet agreement, unspoken, a quirky detail surfaces. In some Silk Road cities, nighttime activity continued in different forms. Smaller gatherings, guarded storage, private exchanges. But the main public markets often softened significantly after dusk. You take a slow breath, letting the changing atmosphere settle around you. The sounds become more distinct as they thin out. Individual footsteps, a final conversation, the soft movement of cloth or wood being put away. The layered hum of the day separates into quieter pieces. You pause near the edge of the street, watching as a group of traders shares a brief exchange before parting. No lingering negotiation, no extended discussion, just acknowledgement, then movement. A light, sleepy humor drifts through your thoughts. After all the careful bargaining earlier, it's almost refreshing to see people simply stop. You let the thought pass. The light continues to fade, and with it, the colors of the city shift. The bright tones soften into deeper shades, the contrast easing into something more even, more calm. You begin to feel it in your body too. A slowing, a quiet release of the day's tension. The journey, which carried you across landscapes and into this city, now seems to settle into a different kind of rhythm. Not movement, but completion. For now, you take a few steps forward, then pause again, watching as the final pieces of the day fall into place. A door closes softly. A bundle is secured. A space is left as it was found. Everything returns to a state of readiness, waiting for tomorrow. A mainstream realization settles deeper. The Silk Road functioned not just through movement, but through cycles, periods of activity followed by rest, exchange followed by preparation. Nothing continuous, everything balanced. You turn slowly, letting your gaze move across the street one last time. The city doesn't sleep entirely, but it quiets, it softens, it breathes out, and you find yourself doing the same. A slow inhale, a gentle exhale. The day fades, not abruptly, Not dramatically, just quietly. You take another step, then another, your pace unhurried. There's no need to rush anywhere, no need to seek anything more. The journey has carried you here, and now, for this moment, you simply exist within the gentle closing of the day. The last traces of daylight slip quietly along the walls, then fade into something softer, something dimmer, until the city settles into a gentle evening calm. The movement hasn't stopped. It's simply changed form. The steady rhythm of trade has given way to a quieter kind of presence. You walk without urgency now, your steps guided more by instinct than intention, until you find yourself near a simple lodging house. The entrance is open, not grand, not decorated, just a place for travelers to pause, rest, and gather themselves before the next stretch of the journey. You step inside. The transition is immediate. The sounds of the street soften, filtered by walls that seem to hold the quiet more firmly. The light is dimmer here, coming from small sources placed carefully along the edges, enough to see, but not enough to distract. Silk Road cities offered various forms of lodging for travelers, ranging from simple communal spaces to more structured inns, often connected to caravanserais. You move along the interior, noticing how the space is arranged. Low platforms, simple bedding, areas where individuals or small groups can settle without interruption. No excess, no unnecessary detail, just function. A man nearby adjusts a blanket, then lowers himself to sit, his movements slow, deliberate. Another leans against the wall, eyes half closed. No one speaks loudly. No one needs to. You find a place along the edge and sit, lowering yourself with care. The ground is firm beneath you, the surface slightly worn from repeated use. You shift once, then again, finding a position that feels just right, comfortable enough. You exhale slowly. The day has been full, not in a way that overwhelms, but in a way that settles into your body. The walking, the observing, the quiet exchanges. Historians still argue whether travelers along the Silk Road formed lasting connections during their stays, or if interactions remained brief and functional. Sitting here now, it feels like a mix. Shared space without obligation, presence without pressure. Some lodging houses offered shared meals or communal spaces where travelers could exchange stories, though often in quiet, measured ways. You glance around, noticing how each person settles into their own space. Some lie down immediately. No one rushes into sleep. It arrives when it arrives. A light, sleepy humor drifts through your thoughts. After everything you've seen today, the most valuable commodity might just be a place to sit down. The air here is still, carrying only faint traces of the city outside. The scents are softer now, less spice, less dust, more neutral, more calm. You take a slow breath, let it out gently. Your shoulders relax, the last traces of tension easing away without effort. You lean back slightly, your gaze drifting across the dim space. The light flickers gently, shadows moving slowly along the walls. It's enough to watch, or not. Your eyes begin to soften, your focus less precise. The journey that brought you here, the long path, the shifting landscapes, the quiet exchanges, feels complete for now. Not finished, but paused. You close your eyes briefly, just to rest them. The sounds fade further. The movement slows. Your breathing settles into a steady rhythm. In, out. Nothing else required. You open your eyes once more, just for a moment, taking in the quiet presence of the space around you. Then let them close again. Because tomorrow, the journey will continue. New paths, new movements, new rhythms. But for now, you remain here, still, quiet, at rest Within the soft, steady calm of the evening, the quiet of the lodging space settles more deeply around you. But not everyone is fully at rest. You notice small movements, subtle, purposeful, happening in the corners of the room and just beyond the doorway. Preparation, not for the day that has ended, but for the one that will begin. You open your eyes slightly, your awareness shifting without fully waking from the calm that has settled in. A trader nearby rolls a small bundle with care, tightening it just enough to hold its shape without damaging what's inside. Another checks a strap, pulling it gently, testing its strength. No urgency, just readiness. Many Silk Road journeys were planned in stages, with travelers preparing their goods, animals, and routes in advance of departure. They often left at first light to take advantage of cooler temperatures and clear visibility. You watch as a man unfolds a piece of cloth, smoothing it once before wrapping it around a set of smaller items. The process is deliberate, almost ritualistic. Nothing is left to chance. Historians argue whether these preparations were standardized or varied by region. Watching this, it feels personal. Each trader following their own method. A quiet system of habits refined through repetition. You shift slightly, not rising, just observing from where you sit. The calm of the room remains. Beneath the silence, there's a gentle undercurrent of motion, a soft readiness. Some traders timed departures based on environmental patterns, wind direction, temperature shifts, even animal behavior, ensuring the journey began under the best possible conditions. You imagine stepping out into that cool, early air once more. A light thought drifts through your mind. Just when you've finally mastered the art of sitting still, it's almost time to start walking again. The man who had been resting near the wall now sits up, adjusting his belongings with quiet precision. Another checks a small container, opening it briefly, then sealing it again with care. Everything is prepared. Nothing is rushed. The city outside has softened into near silence, but the journey continues beneath the surface, always moving, even when still. You take a slow breath, letting it out gently. Your body feels rested now, not fully restored, but enough. The weight of the day has lifted, replaced by a quiet readiness. A soft exchange happens near the doorway. Two traders speaking in low tones, perhaps confirming plans. There's no extended discussion, just agreement, then stillness again. Historians argue whether caravan departures were strictly coordinated or more loosely organized. It feels flexible, structured, but adaptable. You lean your head back slightly, your gaze softening. The space feels even quieter now, the small movements becoming less frequent. The preparation is nearly complete. Everything is ready, waiting. It's impressive how much planning goes into a journey that still involves a lot of walking. You let the thought fade. The anticipation of movement doesn't disrupt the stillness. It blends into it, becoming part of the rhythm. Rest, prepare, move, repeat. The journey is not demanding anything of you right now. It's simply waiting. And in that waiting, there is a quiet peace, because you know what comes next. You've felt it before. The first step, the return to rhythm. But for now, you remain still, held in the calm just before movement begins again. The first hint of morning arrives quietly again, just as it did before. Soft light pressing gently into the edges of the room, the air shifting from stillness into something slightly more awake. You don't rise immediately. No one does. There's no need. The moment unfolds at its own pace. A figure near the doorway stands first, adjusting a bundle, then stepping outside to test the air. Another follows, moving with the same calm awareness. No signals are given, no words exchanged loudly. The day begins simply. You open your eyes fully now, letting the soft light settle into your vision. The room is no longer dim, but not yet bright. A quiet, in-between space. You sit up slowly, your body responding with a familiar readiness. Not eager, not reluctant, just prepared. Caravans often departed early in the morning to take advantage of cooler temperatures and stable conditions, especially when moving across long distances. You stand, gathering your small bundle, adjusting it with practiced ease. The motions that once felt unfamiliar now come naturally. Lift, balance, secure. You step outside, the cool air meeting you again, fresh and steady. The city at this hour feels different, less layered, less full. The streets are quieter, the movement more purposeful. You notice others from the caravan emerging as well, each one falling into place without instruction. The group reforms gradually, like a pattern reassembling itself. Familiar, reliable. Historians still argue whether caravans maintained consistent membership throughout journeys, or if individuals joined and left at various points. From what you've seen, it feels fluid. Connections formed, then released, without disruption. You glance at a few familiar faces, recognizing them by presence. That's enough. Some traders specialized in certain segments of the Silk Road, rarely traveling the entire distance, joining caravans for specific routes. You consider how many journeys overlap here, how many paths intersect before separating again. The caravan begins to move. No signal, just the first step. You follow. The city, which felt expansive and layered, now narrows again into a path outward. The structures give way gradually to open space, the sounds fading behind you as the movement continues. Step, lift, move, the rhythm returns. It's almost comforting how quickly everything resets. One moment you're in a city, the next you're back on the road. You almost smile. The walls of the city fall behind you, the open land stretching ahead once more. The air shifts, the light strengthens. The journey resumes in its familiar form. But something is different. Not the path, not the pace. You. The movement feels easier now, not because the distance has changed, but because you understand it. The rhythm is no longer something you adapt to. It's something you carry. You glance around at the caravan, noticing how it reforms naturally, each person finding their place, no instruction needed, just experience. The Silk Road was never a single journey, but a continuous flow of movement shaped by countless individuals. You take another step, then another. The city fades behind you. The path opens ahead, and the journey continues, not as something new, but as something ongoing, something that never truly ends. You move forward with the same steady rhythm, with the same quiet awareness, with the understanding that every step connects to something larger, and you are part of it. You move with the caravan once more, the steady rhythm returning so naturally that it almost feels like it never left. The city fades behind you, not disappearing all at once, but softening into memory. Its sounds, its scents, its quiet exchanges, settling gently. Step, lift, move. The pattern continues, but now it feels different, not new, just understood. The path stretches ahead again, open and patient, waiting without urgency. The air is cool, the light still soft. The caravan settles into its familiar formation. Camels steady, traders quiet, movement constant. But this time, you notice something beneath it all. Not the steps, not the landscape, but the connection. Every part of the journey exists within the same quiet flow. The Silk Road operated for centuries as a network of interconnected routes, continuously evolving as empires rose and fell and climates shifted. You take a slow breath, let it out gently. The rhythm continues. Historians still argue whether the Silk Road should be understood as a single unified system or as many overlapping networks. It feels like both, a single thread woven from many strands. Some goods carried along these routes would never reach a final destination, instead circulating across regions for years. You imagine a piece of silk, a handful of spices, a written message, each one traveling far beyond its original purpose. The thought settles quietly. The journey isn't about arriving, it's about continuing. You walk a little slower now because your awareness has softened. The need to observe every detail fades, replaced by something calmer, something quieter. You no longer watch each step. You simply take it. The sounds blend into a background. The movement of sand, the presence of camels, the faint murmur of voices that no longer require attention. Everything becomes smooth. It turns out the most remarkable thing is how ordinary it all begins to feel. You almost smile. The light shifts slowly, the horizon stretching endlessly ahead. There's no urgency in it, no demand to reach anything specific, just space and time and movement. Your breathing slows, deepens, matching the quiet rhythm around you. In, out, step, lift, move. The repetition softens your thoughts, easing them into something less defined. The memories of the journey, desert sands, mountain paths, city streets, blend together, no longer separate scenes, but a single, continuous experience. You let them settle. No need to hold on to them. No need to follow them. Just let them be. The caravan continues, but you don't need to focus on it anymore. It moves, and you move with it, without effort. The world around you begins to soften at the edges, the colors blending, the sounds fading into a gentle hum. You feel it in your body, a release, a calm, a stillness within the movement. Your steps slow slightly, not stopping, just easing into something lighter. The path ahead no longer needs your attention. Let your shoulders relax, let your hands rest. Let the rhythm carry you without effort. There's nowhere you need to be. The journey continues. But you don't need to follow it anymore. You can simply rest within it. Let the memory of the road drift softly through your mind. Let the quiet presence of the caravan fade gently into the distance. Let the movement slow and soften and settle into stillness. Your breathing becomes the only rhythm now. Slow, steady, calm. The world grows quieter, softer, further away, and as the last traces of the journey dissolve, you find yourself drifting into a gentle rest, a space where everything that needed to happen has already happened, and now you can simply let go.